Welcome to part 2. It is time to talk about competences. What do you need to be a good adult educator? To some extent, this depends on your type of work and your setting. What I mean is, the emphasis on some competences depend on your context. But I would still claim there are some common things that unites all good adult educators. I used to think you can just make a list of good qualities, like a wish list, and leave it at that. You know, things like you need to know your subject, be able to listen, be flexible, understand the learning process, and so on. There is nothing wrong with such a list, and if you Google, you will find many similar ones. But the problem is that they are not comprehensive. They do not offer a very scientific way to approach this subject. Then, as we compiled the thematic issue of the journal Adult Education and Development on the Good Adult Educator, I was introduced to the GRETA project. This is a very comprehensive and scientific approach, plus they are very thorough. For this part, I have therefore decided to focus on their results and explain some of what they found out. I strongly encourage you to familiarize yourself more with their results. Adult educators, be they course leaders, lecturers, teachers or trainers, are the cornerstone on which any successful adult education is built. But precisely what it means to be able to teach is not yet really covered by any generally applicable standards globally. The GRETA project has developed a uniform competence model for teachers and trainers stretching across different adult education providers in adult education and further training, reflecting the competencies that they think are necessary in order to teach. This is a major step towards achieving professionalization of adult education. When GRETA was designed, a constant feedback between practitioners and researchers was built in. This to keep the model real. GRETA now provides an overview of the knowledge and skills that a teacher needs, as well as attitudes, beliefs and self-reflection skills that constitute professional teaching. It can help you to take stock of your own competences, and it can provide you with orientation for your competence development. I find this approach to be refreshing, because there is a risk we think of competences too narrowly. We may think it is enough to know the subject to be taught, or perhaps we also include some pedagogical competence and stop at that. The thing is, GRETA makes you see the whole picture. This model is careful to include aspects you may not have realized are important to be a good adult educator. As the model is a bit complex, you may not get all the things it does just by me explaining it, so to get deeper into it, I suggest you use the material available for this part. However, I do think I can give you some idea of how GRETA has organized the different competences you need. Let me try. Here then is a short overview. The model is relevant to all groups of teachers and trainers in adult and continuing education. What I mean is, it does not matter if you're working full-time, part-time, as a salaried employee, freelancer, self-employed, or if you're a volunteer. The list of competences are the same. It also does not really make any difference what institutional context you work in. So you can be publicly recognized, non-profit or commercial, or maybe you work in in-company continuing education. Finally, GRETA also includes all subject matters taught and all fields. What all teachers and trainers in adult and continuing education have in common is that you support adult learning by planning, implementing and evaluating educational programs. The GRETA competence model systematizes the relevant knowledge and skills you need to do just that. The model is based on a holistic understanding of competence. That means a competence is understood as the cognitive ability and skills that an individual either have or can learn in order to solve certain problems, as well as the motivational, volitional, and social readiness and abilities needed to be able to use the problem solutions successfully and responsibly in various situations. Greta looks at both knowledge and content skills, as well as motivational and social willingness. The competence model has 4 levels. At the top level are the competence aspects, the outer ring. They are clustered into 1. Professional knowledge and skills, 2. Subject and field-specific knowledge, 3. Professional self-management, and 4. Professional values and beliefs. Below them we find the competence domains, inner ring. These are subdivided into competence facets, the middle ring. Greta makes a distinction between technical knowledge and practical knowledge. Technical knowledge is listed as theoretical formal knowledge. Application-oriented and practically applied knowledge is listed as competence and skills. Subject and field-specific knowledge is divided into content and field reference. Now, the specific subject content of, let us say, literacy is not further defined. This is because there are so many subjects and they are so wide and diverse. Therefore, subject content should be defined on a technical basis from case to case. The heading Field Reference here includes all knowledge relating to curricular and institutional framework conditions, field-specific goals and principles, and field-specific target groups. In other words, the context where the learning is to take place, both external and internal. Now we come to the general professional knowledge and skills in the model, not related to the subject itself. These are didactics and methods, communication and interaction, guidance and counseling, and organization. Let's go through them one by one. The competence domain didactics and methodology presents knowledge and skills you need to plan and implement the teaching-learning process. The competence domain communication and interaction presents the knowledge and skills you need to lead groups and control in teaching-learning situations. The competence domain guidance and counseling is divided into A. Knowledge and skills you need to offer guidance and support during the learning process, and B. Concrete knowledge and skills you need to counsel learning processes related to the learning situation. Finally, we have organization. This includes how to understand and facilitate teamwork, networks, as well as working with a learner. What I like about this model is that it gives you an idea of the different things you need to know and to learn as an adult educator. It also shows you different levels, and finally, how all of this is connected. You do not need to be able to tick all the boxes here. I know I cannot do that yet. Think of it more as a roadmap and as a help to make you understand what you need to understand. Now it is your turn. What competences do you think a good adult educator needs? Which of them do you already possess? And where can you go to learn the ones you still need? This and much more is what we'll discuss in the next and final part of Module 1 of the curriculum globALE.